Well, we should go to Melody's home. And at least meet with her. Oh my. That was intense. I will be right back. Just run to the loo. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, my computer's still broken. Somebody tried to fix it. Let's talk to Turing. Let's keep it the path we're on. Yeah, I know that, but Turing has been withdrawn and anxious since the news of Hayden's death, despite trying to appear on... Yeah, I know that. The video screen on the front says, mustard, half full. Spoiled milk, 12 days past expired. Milk, 1 week until expiration. Is there spoiled milk in here again? My fridge generates spoiled milk. I have my milk back. Well, if I'd known that. If I'd known that, I would have came back and got the spoiled milk before doing anything else. I'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, let's go to the map. Can we go back to... No, we can't go back to Nanya's. So it looks like we do both stories, and... So then I guess, like... I wonder what the differences are if we did the Flower Mansion last chapter, and we did the investigation thing this chapter. Like, is it that different? Intriguing, intriguing. Alright, well, we're gonna go to the Flower Mansion. I mean, we don't really have any choice. Just wanted to think about that for a second. Something wrong, Turing? Oh, I'm sorry, Potato Fish. I was... wool gathering. I see we've arrived at Melody Flores' residence. It's quite impressive. But that's to be expected, considering that she is still a majority owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group, despite retiring from day-to-day operations at the company. I wonder how she and Hayden first began working together. Sorry, back on task. Is there anything you'd like to know before we head inside? Give me a rundown of Flower Cybernetics. Flower Cybernetics was established in the early 2000s by Melody's mother. It started out developing cutting-edge medical tech, including advanced prosthesis and nanoparticle diagnostic and treatment technologies. They were vastly successful when they perfected the first synthetic nerve mesh, allowing direct connection and control between the nervous system and a cybernetic prosthesis. The majority of their early projects were defense technologies for the American military, developing ruggedized military prosthesis for use on injured soldiers, and then eventually elective for special forces. This research line culminated in the development of brain-controlled androids as shock troops, which have long since been barred by international law. Melody took over the company from her aging mother, and she fought against developing further military hardware from that point on. She pushed the company to use BCA technology for the company's original goals of medical advancements, as well as developing first direct link virtual reality implants. The company is largely successful on a global scale, despite continued legislative movement against extensive cybernetic use, especially brain implants. What can you tell me about Melody? Not a whole lot. She's largely private, in contrast to her mother's penchant for courting a media circus. Several biologies of former Flower executives show her as being extensively passionate about demilitarizing the company, to the point of absolute viciousness in the boardroom. But it has been a long time since her days of fighting for the company, and she has since stepped away from the helm. There's talk that she lost her spine in old age. But, well, I take that with a grain of salt, potato fish. She may have retreated from corporate battlefield, but that don't change the entire direction. I think that probably should be doesn't for Turing. Oh no, you don't. But you don't change the entire direction of a company as large as Flower if you're a quitter. I can't read. That's the problem. Stay on your toes, potato fish. Didn't Yannick say that he and Melody had a falling out? He did. And I can't shine much light on that. I know that System 1 worked with Flower to help develop the first operating systems for direct link virtual reality implants, so perhaps it happened during that time. Also, Flower eventually went with a different company for future models of the implant, but there was never public talk of personal falling out between the heads of the companies. I'll scrape the mesh for more rumors, but they'll only be that, rumors. I can do my best to parse fact from fiction, but it blurs too much for me to be sure what's real. Okay, let's go ahead and... No time like the present, then. Okay, so there's a bear statue. It's interesting, bear statues. Well, I guess, you know, it's California. Bear statues, I guess, would make sense, wouldn't they? I mean, and not, like, hugely. She could just be, like, hugely into kumas or something. I think bear is kuma in Japanese, considering the Japanese aesthetic influences. Small-scale bear club. Bear statues guard the entrance to the mansion. They'd look cuter if they had little outfits on. That is a good point. There is actually a significant bear aesthetic to the mansion, so I'm thinking Melody Flowers must just really like bears. It could use a sweater and a tie, maybe a top hat. They're pretty bare otherwise. So bad. I mean, it's good, but it's bad. You can't take it. Not marble, nor the gilded monuments. Don't destroy the Ursan aesthetic. Why would I destroy it? I'm just using it. Turing, you're being hyperbolic. I think that's the best bad joke so far in the entire game. Like that is I'm at a loss for words. I'm well, that that's getting a screen cap. I don't know. That is beyond. I just need a picture for context now. The bear puns. It's the bear puns that are unbearable. That's what it is. I mean, this is just gonna keep going. I'm sorry if this is not. I have no words. What's next? What's next? We're gonna talk again. We're gonna talk again. Okay, that one's not as good as the Kodiak arrest. I mean, like, it's difficult to find solidarity. Oh my god. I shall bear witness to your revitalized existence. Give it a second to come up with another one. Bear with it. Alright, let's use the headphones on it. The statue's head is too big to fit the headphones on. No sweet jams for the bears. Besides, it needs some sunglasses if it's going to commit to that look. Alas, there is no rain for the statue to shield itself from, or sing in. The handle won't fit any of the statue's big old paws. We need to get you a teddy bear if you want to play dress up so bad. Turing, are you going to buy me a teddy bear? Because I'm going to hold you to that. Alright, I'm assuming this bear statue is exactly the same. Yeah. These tall shrubs could line the estate of a Victorian duke. They're that stuffily pleasant to look at. They have the stale beauty that only can come from the care of obligated professionals. These evergreens are perfectly sculpted. Be careful not to wreck the mold if you touch them. Potato fish! Don't treat the junipers like arborvitaes? Oh, right, because that was what I had for the plant. You don't know the difference between a shrub and a bush? Turing, don't be a jerk. Probably isn't worth the risk. Yeah, well, I'm touching it again. The plant takes volts like a champ, resolute and green in the face of the pistol's rage. Okay, so we got the windows still to look at. Windows line the front of the house, and broadcast hints of an expertly designed den inside. It's framed with light blue curtains that probably cost more than your rent, each. Okay. The anguished cry of the window cleaner bellows in your soul as you smudge one of the panes. Ha ha ha! That fingerprint could become incriminating if this strip goes dark. Oh well. Yeah. Listening to windows proves rather melancholy. Leaves you with a lot to reflect on. The windows try their best to produce deep, meaningful lyrics, but the effort is transparent. Your ID card. A small, poorly photographed version of your face is now directly displayed against the mansion window. Oddly enough, this unlocks no secret entrances, awards no points, and just makes Turing look at you kind of funny. Turing should already be looking at me kind of funny. Two dark wooden doors make up the mansion's entranceway. A small foyer can be seen through the mottled glass. Okay. This is what doubles as a doorbell now? It looked more like a buzzer. Yeah, it is. This looks like a buzzer for the apartment complex. They need one of these for just one house? Well, of course. She could be in, like, the many, many rooms. It has the usual panel and speaker, too. But the communication is only one way. It seems kind of strange. You know what? I don't even want to know. Rah! He meant no disrespect. Rah! Potato fish, your guess is good as mine. But I think we can go in. Should we? I want that bear. Oh. Is Nightbot gone? Silly Nightbot. Nightbot was having trouble earlier today. Let's fix that right now. No Linky. No Linky. Unless I duel you. Okay, so I guess we're going inside. I look at. Oh wait, no, I've already looked at the door. Oh, Swanky. Swanky? What? I've been trying to increase my usage of colloquialisms. Is Swanky too out of date? I'll say, it was mode of fashion back when I used to care about what was in style. Oh, Mrs. Flores. Excuse me for the intrusion. I know who you are. Yannick isn't the only one with little birds to chirp in his ears. Curse him to the pit. We can explain. No. Don't even start. If I thought you were Yannick's, I would have just had Pat to eat you both when you came to my door. He would have done it gladly, too. Fine, not eaten. He's on a diet, but perhaps a light mauling. Look, this philosophy is how I lead my life. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear, well, he eats you. Well, stop lurking and let's chat. I don't have all day to entertain you, Turing, nor your journalist friend, and not even for Hayden. You don't have time to waste if you're going to find him either. Right. Wow, there's a lot of crap in here. Like, a lot. Door, planter, gardening. That's a ROM out there? I thought it was a statue. Melody keeps unusual company. Ursus maritimus, if I'm not mistaken. That might be why the temperature controls are set so low in here. Yeah, Turing, he's definitely a polar bear. I wasn't aware you knew the scientific name of the species potato fish. Has my interest in prompt nomenclature started to rub off on you? He's a white bear, Turing. What else could he be? Plenty! Have you ever heard of a care mode bear? Also known as a spirit bear? Or he could be a white-faced black bear, or even a pizzly. But he's not. It's a polar bear. What a dog. Yep, definitely a polar bear. So, Gurren stuff? Does a bear you know, never mind. Pat, what burdens do you bear? I love this. Pat, what is the meaning of life? Woof? Oh, and now it's just repeating. Pat is Melody's butler, not yours. He'll offer service when and only when his mistress permits. Grooming is also a Melody-only activity. Might get weird if some random person starts getting up in his fur. And it's just repeating. Headphones. Whoa, that little helmet he wears is constantly translating TV into growls and grunts in his ears, so he can understand. Cyber Bear. Does Pat just snicker at your DMV photo? It's hard to tell with his butler politeness. Don't be fooled by the veneer of courtesy. Pat is a bear with implants. You probably wouldn't appreciate this propaganda. Love that. A Malcolm model Rom is tending to the garden. Don't worry, he's just trimming that bush. It can be very important to the health of your garden to keep your bush nice and tidy. Innuendo? Or am I just dirty-minded? That's innuendo. Some people like a natural growth, but others prefer a neatly trimmed bush. Some people don't like bushes at all. It's all about personal preference. You gotta see the forest for the trees. A large climate control globe towers in the lounge. It has some lively in-season plants inside. I just realized the plants outside aren't in globes, like all the other plants that we've seen. Except for mine. But that's not really surprising. Out of all the healthy plants and interesting habitats you've come across, this one looks like takes the metaphorical cake. Metaphorical cake. The planter's shape makes it look like the plants inside it are reclining on one of those awesome sling chairs. It looks impossible to open, but rubbing the outside does produce a nice squeaky plastic on furniture sound. See, I don't understand the appeal of that. Like, I'm sure that the plants look nice, but beats the isolation. I don't know, it would drive... I mean, like, you would never take care of it, but you would never get the benefits of having a plant. Like... You could totally scratch a hot track with this effect. Wiki wiki, as they say. Please stop. Okay. Nope. The plants are listening to an ambient trance playlist on a platform called Rudy. Rudy, the horribly named procedural radio service for upscale planters boxes. This is a weird world. Huge marble fountain adorns the courtyard. Its pleasant bubbling sound can just barely be heard over the TV and the outdoor ambience. It's a simple goblet design, but its edges are rippled slightly so that the water trickles off in curved rivets. It's a nice effect. It doesn't look like a fountain to me. It looks like another planter. You have no coins to throw in. No wishes for you. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would throw coins in. Besides, this estate really doesn't need any extra change. Most of the human revolution's arguments don't hold water. This is the kind of cheap pamphlet where the colors will get all runny, too. The most regal robotic cat in the world sits prim and proper on the fainting chair. If it spoke any languages outside of robotic meows, it could probably trace its lineage back to the cradle of jungle cat civilization. Lily here is a model based on the Persian river cat, one of the newest designer breeds to be put on the market. They are prized for their traditional Egyptian features, despite being more directly related to the Chinese breed. Okay, but it's a robot cat. Her outfit costs more than you. Yeah, I assume. Yeah. You give the cat a pet. The name on her collar says Lily. Don't crowd the cat. Robot felines are double humorless. Ow! She just bit you! Robot teeth hurt. Okay. It looks remarkably bored at all the attempts at conversation. The cat is much more occupied with overseeing its domain. Yeah. Would you like some super spoiled milk? This cat had the ability to drink from a saucer of soured milk. It would become the single most spoiled entity to ever exist. It already knows who you are, and it is unimpressed. Well, yeah, it's a cat. The latest episode of Media Blitz is going into the sordid details of a new teen actor's island love affair with a local politician's daughter. I would have thought it would probably be covering Charlie Nova. These shows are so demeaning, reducing the private lives of famous people to soap operas for the lowest common denominator. Media Blitz. Disabled touch interactivity on their show after the appearance of their new host, a former swimming champion, led to thousands of screens being fondled into disrepair. I'm watching that. Please don't touch it. All direct feed viewer requests have been calculated for this episode of Media Blitz already. I have to scream into the TV before they get to the wall of crotch shots segment. The last time Media Blitz hosted a celebrity that supported the human revolution, the amount of angry emails the studio received caused a network-wide ban on the issue. Good. A Rosie 893 unit, from the emblem on its side at least. It sits patiently near Pat in a sort of ambient sleep mode, playing light instrumental music. The Rosie series is the most socially organized ROMs. They're designed to track personal liaisons and maintain social calendars. It was nicknamed the Jane Austen Bot by Assets magazine a few years back, in the annual Mandatory Machines issue. Rosie units are designed to remain in sleep mode until reactivated by their owner's voice. The tasteful arrangement of Philip Glass's work is the unit's only response. It's one of the tunes from that weird wordless movie with the Russian-sounding name that made everyone fall asleep in high school. Like the high-stakes socialite relationship it monitors, the Rosie is extremely delicate. The palpable air of upper-class judgment in the room makes it risky to touch anything, especially the 64,000 credit ROM. Well, let's poke it with an umbrella. By design, this ROM is strictly for indoor use. Okay, and, well, let's see what happens when I do that again. Unless the planter bursts, or Pat decides to mark his territory, it should be alright. Pat, why would you go mark your territory? A background program researches your entire family history. It now knows about where you came from more than you ever will. Who knew your ancestors were that into moonshine? The biggest strawberries you've ever seen are assembled in the china bowl on the coffee table. Oh god, I want strawberries. They look too good to eat. That might be the point. Those are for Pat, not for you. Why would a polar bear want strawberries? Bear's treats are probably tastier than anything you can cook. These strawberries are genetically modified using the Flockhart method, altered most for aesthetic appearance. This is a contrast to the Borlaug method, where the food is modified for greater crop yield and higher nutrient benefit. So it's just to make rich people look even more fancy. A thin string of steam escapes this delicate spout. The blue and white coloring is an intimidation, a set used in Scotland in the late Edwardian era. Sadly, no true originals exist. The tea arrangement is simple, but refined. The desire for shortbread cookies comes immediately and strongly. Game, you were just making me want to eat, like, so many things. It was cake, then it was strawberries, and now it was fast food. Ugh. The handling of the teapot is strictly the domain of the host's servants. Or at least in the homes of this class. Let's touch it again. Making myself a note to teach you some tea time manners. Okay. Spoiled milk. It's fairly likely you can request milk that isn't toxic. Maybe even honey, really. There are bears around, after all. This umbrella is not small enough, nor is this drink fruity enough to merit insertion of an umbrella. Alright, well, let's talk to her. You have me at a disadvantage, Mrs. Flores. You seem far more familiar with me than I am with you. Have we met? It is just Melody, Turing. And no, we've never met. Though considering how often Hayden harassed me for design schematics of Flower's latest neural implants, I might as well be, your aunt. We'll go with that, then. I wouldn't mind being an aunt, even to a blue-headed robot. I am touched, Melody. We were hoping you might be able to shine some light on my origins. Fairlight mentioned that you had worked with Hayden in the past. We haven't had access to any of his research notes, and couldn't track down any collaborators he may have been working with. Perhaps if we know more, we might be able to nail down a solid motive. Well, I don't know. I can speculate on that beyond typical corporate infighting. And not that Parallax is known for that, of course. Still, I'm willing to answer your questions for now. So how did you end up working together on Turing? Indeed, I don't see any connection between your company and Hayden's research into machine sapience. Oh, Hayden wasn't researching machine sapience. At least not primarily. Not to diminish the importance of your creation, Turing, but Hayden is mainly interested in developing a way to transfer human consciousness into a machine matrix. So you can see why neural implants would obviously have been an integral part of that. Oh, I didn't realize. So how would Turing's development help with that? Well, the concept of transferring the human mind into a computer has been an attractive goal for decades, if not longer. Functional immortality is a powerful lure. The brain is an immensely complicated machine, and even though we know the right parts to push to make pictures show up, we can't replicate the entire thing as a technological construct. Even with virtual reality implants, we're really just relying on the brain's ability to make sense of nonsensical signals. The implant is a signal pipe, and all that the brain does, it does all the real processing. That's why acclimation period for a direct link implant is like being stuck on low-grade hallucinogens for a whole week. So Hayden decided the best way to make a machine that was more like the human brain would be to work in the opposite direction. Instead of mimicking the mechanics of a human brain, he started writing code that mimics the functioning of the human mind, and assumed the architecture behind it would suit both purposes. Think of it like a convergent evolution. Two different species developing the same adaptation to solve the same problem, but continents apart. Hayden is a crack programmer when it comes to information collating. That's how he made his name in Parallax in the first place. So he wrote a bunch of baffling self-modifying learning algorithms and let them loose. Poke and prod them here and there to make sure they value the same things humans do, and eventually end up with you, Turing. Interesting. Hayden never revealed any of this to me. I'd imagine he's pretty tight-lipped. You were the first prototype he considered a real success, and he was afraid of contaminating your development before you had a chance to make good observations. Can you elaborate on your involvement? Hayden and I have always been aware of each other for years, but I can't say we've been friends or anything like that at all. It's a small city, and if you're in the tech sector, you're never more than 2 degrees removed from anyone else. When we started looking into the pet project of his, he came right to my door and demanded access to my research logs behind our earlier implants. Cheeky bugger he was, but it was impactful and disruptive, as they like to say around here. He needed those logs to better understand the way the implant handled directing sensory data into the right parts of the brain, and he wanted to mimic that in your software. I couldn't care less about Flower's patents anymore, so I gave him what he wanted, just to see what he would do. I'm frankly more impressed than I expected I would be, but don't tell him I said that. Don't worry. I'd like to ask something else. Sure. Can you tell us more about you and Flower Cybernetics? This is why I don't talk to journalists. They all want to pry into my life. Can't you wait for my autobiography? I promise I'm working on it. Pinky promise. We don't want to pressure you, Melody, but every bit of information we could get might be useful in painting us towards the individuals that attacked Hayden. Huh. All right. Off the record, then. Of course. Fine, ask away. What is your history with Flower? Well, Mommy Dearest first started the company half a century ago and quickly let it turn from a cutting-edge medical research group into a Department of Defense super soldier cyborg factory. I took over when she got lymphoma. I had to fight tooth and nail to turn Flower into something that churned my guts a little less. Now we're back to making medical tech and consumer neural implants rather than brains inside tin cans with lasers strapped to the front. If the US government wants more war-grade cyborgs, then they'll have to get them elsewhere. Never mind them being banned by the Geneva Convention. I guess that's the gist of it, at least. Unless you want sordid details about the last 2 decades of board meetings I had to fight through, till I managed to buy back a majority stake in the company. No, that seems fine. It lines up with what the Mesh says. Well, I'm happy the Mesh managed to get something right, at least. So how are you involved in the company today? Huh! I'm not. I mean, I still own the damn thing, but frankly, I'm tired. I let the current CEO and board do what they want, under the understanding that I will shit-can them if they do anything gregariously stupid. Like, say, create more cyborg assassin war machines. These days, I mostly spend my time talking to Pat and practicing my painting. You paint? What a coincidence! I love painting. What do you do? Oh, nothing fantastic. Just still life, mostly. I'll never be known for my artistic skills, but I still enjoy it. It's very meditative, isn't it? I agree, very much. I look forward to when all of this is over and I can get back to my canvases. Would you mind taking a look at my work, since you're my aunt and all? Huh. Well, we can play a little. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. It's a date. Alright, I want to know what the deal is with Pat. Pat is a prototype as well. Flower had a short-lived project that attempted to use neural implants to increase the cognitive power of non-human animals. Non-human animals. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is like... It's such a tiny pet peeve of language, but I hate it when anything refers to animals and they mean specifically not humans. I don't know why it drives me up the wall, but like, thank you. It worked to an extent. Pat's smarter than your average bear, but not by much. Oh, be quiet, Pat. After the project was squashed, mostly for being a money pit, Pat was the only surviving success story. The guys didn't know what to do with him, so I decided to keep him around here. He's not a bad companion, a bit taciturn. Give it up, Pat. You're no Shakespeare. I'd like to ask about something else then. Sure. So, what about you and Fairleigh? Hell, that old bastard and I have been flashing daggers at each other for the better part of 20 years. I contracted out the software development for our first-gen direct-link VR neural implants to System 1. Things were going great, but after the first few models sold like gangbusters, Yannick tried to get into bed with me. Literally. I turned him down very politely, I might add, and then saw all of a sudden the cooperation between our companies dried up. We've been at it back and forth ever since. I'd be damn careful about trusting him if I were you. He's a snake, and he'll do anything he can do. He will do anything he can to get what he wants. Still, I suppose if he tried again now, I might not turn him down. It'd be fun to needle him about me still having my own company when he doesn't have his. Well, I think that's everything. Good. I can get back to my retirement. Thank you for your time, Melody. We'll be in touch later. Oh, one more piece of information for you, if you'd like it. I've got contact info for Vincent Mensa. I think he might be able to help you. Vincent was working more closely with Hayden inside Parallax, mostly on his company-approved research on data correlating algorithms for the mesh. I'll send him a message and ask him to meet you somewhere. He owes me a favor anyway. I might be able to give you some information on anything else Hayden may have been working on. That would be fantastic, Melody. Everyone in this game owes everyone else a favor. Perhaps Golden Gate Park? That's public and crowded for safety of us all. That should work. Be careful out there, Turing. I'd hate to see you get killed. I will exercise caution, Melody, but I have contacts that can affect any repairs I might need. You don't understand. Hayden's design uses your base hardware configuration to generate your core personality profile. Each repair will make the little idiosyncrasies of your hardware mismatched against your personality algorithms. Too much change and the whole thing collapses. You'll have to be rebooted from scratch. So, I'm sorry to say, but you're as mortal as the rest of us, Turing. I didn't know. Yeah, I can tell you really needed to get your hands on Hayden's files. There's plenty I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. I only remember some of what Hayden told me, how he put you together. Just look out for yourself. I will. Thank you, Melody. I'm just going to look at a few more things and then go on break. The room control monitor is fixed to the back wall of the room. The temperature is set low. It is freezing. Okay. This thing is so old, it can't be even considered hip in the vintage market anymore. Alright, well, you know what? This is a really good time for me to take a break. I am already a bit over than where I would want to be, but I wanted to get to the end of that. So we have a few leads to follow. I want to go back and see Fairlight, because I don't trust that bastard, so anything he's willing to give me, I will take. And I think I can go talk to him now. So I'm going to go grab a quick snack and some water, and I will see you in a few minutes, so stick around.